Hello and welcome back. We are
The Forgotten Truth.
And today we're going to talk about childhood and teenagers, like their addictions. Now, addiction is a wide range of compulsive behaviors having to do with substances, some substance abuse like drugs and alcohol, but can also be with food and technology. And technology is the big one today with this new uprising of like cell phones, the internet, and video games, social media.
Now, as a kid in school, that's a massive impact on us because all around us, kids are addicted to all kinds of things now.
Yeah. And every assignment we have is online on a Chromebook, so we're constantly looking at screens for 7 hours straight.
And after this COVID pandemic, having us learn online,
and staying at home has gotten a lot of people addicted to food.
Yeah, putting a big impact on that. Now,
childhood obesity is at an all-time high. It has for the past around 15 years.
America is the most obese country in the world, and it's because of that. Now, today addiction has a wider meaning that for childhood and adolescence, because it can mean out of control attachment to the internet, which is what we just talked about, video games, pornographic violence, even texting on cell phones is very addicting to some people. Now, alcohol is the biggest addiction in teens right now. Vaping is the second. Vaping is a really big problem.
Vaping is definitely the one we know the most of at our school.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, both of them are horrible. Now, there's 4 stages of addiction. Stage 1 is experimentation. They just test if they like it, and then if they don't, they don't. If they do, they try it again. Now, very few people set out to become addicted, but they still try it, and then the addictive drugs in it will.
Once you try something, you can't go back. You're usually hooked on it, and you're just no going back.
Good. And then stage 2 is regular use and abuse. So that is when you are constantly buying, using, or not buying because you might be underage, but you are constantly using it. And then stage 3 is dependency and tolerance. So you are
can't go
dependent
without
on
it.
You cannot go without it. And then stage 4 is you're completely addicted. You're just hooked.
Now at school, how do you think these different stages play a part?
In school, I think they're either on 1 or 2. They're not really old enough to have a dependency on it yet. But I mean,
there's some kids who are.
Some people might, but they're mostly on.
I mean, there's kids going to the bathroom 4 to 5 times every classroom. Like in each class, I've had kids that are going to the bathroom 4 to 5 times just to hit a vape.
Yeah,
and they're asking people, hey, like if they forgot theirs at home or if they got it taken away by a parent, they're asking people if they can take theirs.
Yeah, it's horrible. Now, here's the 4 most common addictions in kids 12 plus, so 12 and up. Nicotine, as of 2020, 59.2% of Americans 12 and up had tried it before. Alcohol, as of 2020, 79.5 Americans 12 and up had tried it before. Marijuana, 17.9%. Painkillers, 3.3% of Americans.
That really surprised me about the painkillers, because I mean, probably addicted to painkillers. Everybody's really had painkillers.
Everyone has painkillers in the house, though, so that is a little bit. That is.
I remember there was a challenge going around on TikTok where it was how many Benadryl you could take, and there was occasions where people would be. One of them was standing on a counter in their bathroom, took 12 Benadryls, got knocked out, head fell on the countertop, and decapitated, and died.
Wow, that's horrible. Now I would have thought nicotine would be at the highest because of vaping, but alcohol's pretty bad, and alcohol's pretty much readily available to anyone because their parents not for them. Some people buy it for them, but they have it in their house. Now, there are 9 signs of addiction in kids. Number 1 is your child cannot control their screen time. Now, they are constantly on their phone. They can't control either being on the phone and then being outside. They can't get a median.
There's kids at school that'll be on their phone they have 14 hours on a day of average.
I've seen 17 hours screen time.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. And then and
these kids are also getting phones nowadays when they're like 5.
Yeah.
Their parents are buying them phones
or iPads
before they're even in school.
And now there's a term going around. It's called the iPad kid. It's grown adults that when they were younger, whenever they were misbehaving, their parent would give them a phone, and they just sit there playing on it.
Teaching them lessons. If someone if they're just doing something wrong or being annoying, just set an iPad in front of them instead of actually. Yeah.
And then the second sign is loss of interest in other activities. So they are constantly on their phone, and they are just not doing anything else. They are not. I mean, they still have to do their.
Not even going outside.
Never going outside.
Some people see 3 hours of sunlight a week.
Yeah, it's horrible. And then sign 3 is it preoccupies their thoughts, so they can't think of anything else other than that. It is constantly on their mind, and they cannot get anything. They can't do anything, which is a big problem at school because they can't have that cognitive ability to think about anything else on the test or anything like that. Now, sign 4 is it interferes with socializing. Socializing is a big part of what's going on right now because of online school this past few years, kids are having they're having so much trouble socializing with other kids.
Really losing their social abilities.
Yeah, it's
being stuck at home.
And then sign 5 is screen use causes serious family problems. It splits them apart.
Yeah, just tears them apart. Some kids in the other room playing a game, another kid's in the other room, and then they just never see each other.
Kids will be addicted to their phones and just be in their room all day, and they never talk to their family like a meal.
Yeah, and that's a big problem too because they have their phones at the dinner. They don't even talk. They just play on their phones. And then sign 6 is your kid shows signs of withdrawal. So if you take their phone away, they will just not. They'll just freak out.
Mm-hmm.
They will be repulsive. They will rebel. It's pretty bad. Sign 7 is their tolerance is increasing. So they cannot go out. They cannot go without it for.
Yeah.
It'll start increasing.
Yeah, I can definitely see that during the EOGs. You know, they obviously have to take your phone for no misadministrations. I mean, the second we go over the EOG, kids asking the teachers, "Can I please have our phone? Please have our phone." They can't go without it.
And some kids keep their phones, and then just.
There was a kid in one of my classes where he was on his phone in class, and the teacher was like, "Hey, give me your phone," and she probably said that 3 times, and he just wouldn't give it to her. So he was like, so she called the office, and then they had to come get him and his phone, and he was just immediately ISS, which is in-school suspension. There's kids who would rather be on their phone in class than get in big trouble for it.
Yeah. Now, adolescents aged 15 to 16 years, especially male adolescents, are the most addicted to internet addiction and pornography. Now, aged 11 to 12 show the lowest level of internet addiction, but that is increasing exponentially because of them being younger, getting phones.
Yeah, I'm surprised that 11 to 12 is the least because that's definitely, well, it used to be like maybe 5 years ago. Most of the times when kids would start to get their phones, be starting to download these games that they just can't get off of.
Now, the National Institute of Health, the NIH, showed that the kids who spend more than 2 hours a day on screen time activities scored lower on language and thinking tests. And kids who spent more than 7 hours a day on screens showed a thinning of their brain cortex and managed critical thinking and reasoning.
Yeah, so I mean, it's taking away brain cells.
It's taking away their brain function.
Sitting
they are not getting.
on their
They're
phones.
not learning. They're gonna do horrible in college. It's horrible.
Now there's some things that you can do on your phone that are good, like spreading, like what we're doing. We're spreading the truth. And there's also things like on YouTube. There's lots of scientific channels that you can watch to learn about things, and they might be boring, but there's one channel called the Infographics, and they like make really cool content. It's like cartoon style, but it actually teaches good morals and tells you really cool stories.
Yeah, there's definitely some pros and cons for everybody having access to the internet.
And Zoom calls, we needed those. We needed to keep in touch with
Those
our
are
teachers.
good things to have in our time.
We needed that. Google Classroom, we needed that for these past years. What other things were really good? What other things are really good in the internet?
And obviously spreading the gospel on social medias and.
Yeah, very good. I have a friend. His older brother. He had like 10 to 15,000 followers of just him spreading the gospel. It's crazy. Now Instagram silenced that, or it silenced his main account, so he can switch to that one. But yeah, Now, what are some other things?
Well, you can also use your phone to access things like FaceTime. Like we have a brother and sister who are in college, and we can just FaceTime and talk to them at any time. So it keeps families together as well as pulling them apart.
Yeah, having a brother all the way in the middle of South America, it would suck to not be able to talk to him for 2 years straight. I mean, it'd be terrible. We can talk to him every week now because of our abilities with our phones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But definitely, what surprised me is that alcohol is the more percentage of more common than vaping, because definitely the largest thing I ever see at school is kids vaping.
Yeah.
I mean, I can just walk into the bathroom. Normally, half the time I smell it.
I mean, that
it's
is
just a normal thing.
That is just our school. So maybe in other schools it is alcohol. Maybe people are drinking in the bathrooms.
Yeah, there was one kid who sold alcohol at our school. I think he didn't even get expelled. He got OSS for
expelled for dealing alcohol at a middle school.
He got OSS for like a week and a half, and then 17 hours of community service.
Well, and also this ISS and OSS suspensions, I just find completely counterproductive, because instead of actually punishing a kid, you're saying, "Oh, don't come to school."
Don't come to school.
The kids
what they
that
want
are doing
to do.
exactly, they don't want to go to school. Or ISS, where they're in school, but they're just in a room sitting on a computer doing whatever they want. They're supposed to do their work, but they're the kids who aren't going to do their work anyway. That's the reason they're there.
Yeah, we need more OSS. We need more kids. We need more administrators to take care of that.
Yes.
What we really need is parents to start disciplining their children.
Yes, we do. And they need to take their phones away, so they can't create this tolerance that they cannot have without it. And we need to crack
just
down.
like Cameron was talking about the iPad kids.
iPad kids, yeah, it's a big problem right now. And that is all we have today. We are the Forgotten Truth.
And we'll see you next time.